Welcome back to another business one-on-one episode with BTB Kicks. Still not sure if I want to call it that, but I guess I'm gonna call it that in the meantime. Today, we're gonna talk about the 5 things you should know before getting your first client. These are very important and things I had to learn the hard way while growing my business, and I think it's very important that you all know this too before you get your first set of customers. But before we dive into the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Starting with number 5, you want to set your expectations early. One thing that I continuously harp on, and I know this is not the first time you've heard me say this, but basically you really want to make sure you set your customers' expectations early and before they even leave the shop with your shoes, or leave their shoes with you, I should say. That's really important because depending on how they might leave, they might be expecting unrealistic results. I have people come into my shop to this day thinking that we can turn a destroyed shoe, maybe a 4 out of 10, and with holes in the bottoms and all that, and somehow bring it back to brand new out of the box. But that's just very unrealistic, and they're basically setting themselves up for disappointment. But with that, they're not only going to be disappointed, they're going to take it out on you basically and be like, I thought you could bring these back. I thought you was gonna give me a new shoe. But let's be so for real and honest. That is just not the case. We can only do so much. You have to set realistic expectations and bring them back down to earth before they even leave their shoes, so that way you have the best chance of making that customer happy and keeping them as a returning customer. So one thing that I like to do before the customer leaves is I let them know up front what I can and cannot do for their shoes and what type of results they should expect to see. I don't promise brand new, but I do promise better than how they came into my shop. Moving on to number 4, it is differentiating yourself from the competition. If you're doing sneaker restoration and you're just starting out, I guess everybody's competition in that sense, but it's more so about making yourself stand out so people can identify you with your work and your business, so that you stand out more so than somebody else might stand out, so they come to you instead of that other person. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be by way of content, quality of work, professionalism, stuff like that. Very simple. For example, I'll give you a content one. I don't know if you all have heard of King's Cleans. He really pioneered the ASMR cleaning aspect of restoration, and that was kind of his thing. He basically cleaned shoes and did like the ASMR thing, and that's what really took him off. But now he just buys them for people on the street, just random people, like, hey, you do this challenge, or what percentage is your phone at, and I'll give you this to spend in the store. Like, he's since moved on from that, but that's what really took him off, doing the ASMR style, which became his style. It blew up, so more people saw that and started kind of like gravitating towards that style. But that's just, he was the pioneer of that content from my understanding of what I remember. I've since, I used to do before and after pictures. Some people might just do restorations and then voiceovers, but you want to make sure you have something that you can do for your content, or something that'll make you stand out and is different from, the way somebody else might make content. Put your own spin on it. So for example, I started picking up the ASMR stuff, but I put my kind of twist on it as well and made it my own. Another one that I'd said earlier was quality of work. You might be super attention to detail, going in the threads, making sure every single spec is gone. That's a given. You do want to do that, but if you're just starting out, that's a huge one, because that'll set you apart from other people in your, level. So instead of just using the 3 brushes that come out of a 3-brush kit, and then just like regular, equipment, towels and all that, you might use a steamer or wire brushes, and that helps the shoes get a better, more detailed clean than a typical just 3 brushes, because you can only do so much with 3 brushes. And then as far as professionalism, maybe the way you communicate with your customers, where it's like, okay, you started their shoes, you sent them a text saying you started their shoes, you sent them pictures while the shoes are coming along, or you just finish them quickly. Basically different things to set yourself apart from the average person, because the bar is pretty low. If you just do any of those things to make yourself stand out, to give the customer a better experience, I'm sure they will stick with you and they will have a better experience overall. Number 3, document everything. This one is very important, especially as a new, intermediate, or pro level sneaker restorer. You definitely want to document everything. What I mean by that is you want to take before pictures of all the shoes that you get in, not only just to keep track of everything and label everything up so you know whose shoes are whose, but also because there are some bad apples with customers, and you want to make sure you're protecting yourself and making sure they can't say, oh, you didn't even clean the shoes, I want my money back, I want a refund. Or in my case, I'll tell you a story what happened to me. Customer brought in a beat up pair of Alexander McQueen's, and we cleaned them up, bought them new laces to put in the shoes, and we got them back at a fast pace because they needed them expedited to have them back by a certain time. We did all that. They came to pick up the shoes. They liked the shoes. A month later, I get a notification, oh, you have to dispute a chargeback or something like that. And I'm just like, a chargeback for what? And then I looked at the customer's profile and I was like, wow, like you really asked for a chargeback and we did all this for you? So I had to fight that. My money was tied up for about, I think like a month or two, and then it finally got settled and we ended up winning. But it was just like the audacity of doing a chargeback when we literally cleaned your shoes, got you new laces, and we got them back like fast because you got the expedited. So it's crazy what people will do. I don't put anything past anyone, but you always want to make sure you're protected, because I needed evidence to prove that we did the work we were supposed to do. The person put service not as described, or basically they didn't receive the service that they paid for. Yeah, you want to make sure you're protected. And so whenever you get particular customers or customers who want to try to scam or pull something on you, you have the evidence to be able to say, no, we actually cleaned these. And if you set your expectations like how I said a few moments ago, then you can literally say, I did not promise you a brand new shoe. I promised you better than how you brought them in. And if you have that photo evidence, you can literally show them and be like, well, we did what we were supposed to do. It's only so much we can do for this shoe. Bada bing, bada boom. So you're protected there. But that's very important for new restorers so you don't lose any money or have any issues. We're getting close to the end. This is number 2, know when to walk away. So when I say know when to walk away, I mean know when to cut your losses in a sense for the customer. There's basically 2 cases for this. The first one being if the customer has a beat pair of shoes that you know is not gonna make a difference whether you clean it or not, like it's still gonna look beat, just be honest. Tell the customer there's nothing we can do with these. I'd rather not work on these, and because we know we're not gonna get a good result. Basically, like you're saving them money. You're basically being honest. You're not taking their money knowing that you really can't do anything for the shoes, and they'll respect that. And they'll most likely bring you another pair or just tell people about you in general just for being honest. On another hand, the cut your losses stems from customers that tend to be problematic. If you have customers that are really particular, where they're like, oh, you couldn't get this little bitty speck out of the shoe, or just something like very particular, where it's like it's becoming where they're hard to please when you're doing your job the way you're supposed to be doing your job. It comes to a certain point where it's just not worth doing business with them. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth the hassle. Just save yourself the headache and the bad experience, and save them, I guess, the disappointment of your work. Basically, we know we do good work, but you're not going to please everyone. Just know that you're not going to please everyone, but if you can please most of the people and do consistent good business, you will be just fine. But don't even put yourself through that. Know when to cut your losses and move on, because you got to think in an abundance mindset. There's always going to be a new customer. You can't think in scarcity and be like, oh, well, I want to make sure I get this business, even if it's tough, even if it's a hassle, or even if he's, hard to work with, I still need the money. Like, no. Just cut it loose. You'll thank yourself later. Trust me. Before we get to our last and most important topic of the video, I wanted to make sure you all knew about my BTB Kicks Discord. The Discord is a community of sneaker restorers from around the United States and other countries outside of the United States, where we basically come together every week and hop on Zoom calls. We have a dedicated chat where you can ask questions, network, and learn from each other. And I believe it's honestly very helpful, especially in the beginning when you're trying to learn how to do sneaker restoration. You have the resources to more experienced restorers and a group of peers that are invested in your success and the success of everyone in the group. So not only am I in there, but I also have some of my mentees in there. We have weekly calls on Zoom to talk about different issues, whether it be how to restore sneakers, how to get customers, how to market, different business aspects of sneaker restoration. And I've seen a lot of the students in there grow. So if you're interested in joining, I do have that link in the description down below, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of y'all in there. Now for the most important and final topic, number 1, collect your money up front. I cannot say that enough. If you don't have cash flow in your business, it's gonna be hard to keep going. Because if you do business where they give you the shoes, you clean them up, and then they pay you afterwards, you're just gonna be waiting on your money. I will say this, as a beginner, you maybe could do half up front, half later. But as you start to get more experience, you definitely want to start doing full payment up front. So that way you're not waiting on your money from people. Cause I've had instances where this is when I first opened my shop and I was still doing half up front, half later. People would come in, they drop off a whole bunch of shoes. I would get half of the money up front. I would finish the shoes within like a week. And then I'd be like, okay, like I'm ready, the shoes are done, you know, can you come pick them up? And so I can get basically the other half of the money and then complete the order. And they're like, oh man, I don't get paid until next week, or give me a couple weeks, I'll have the money. And it's like, I can't run a business like that. You can't run a business like that, because then you're just gonna be waiting on your money. And it's like, you have bills yourself to pay. You need supplies and equipment to reorder, different things like that, money to market your business. You just need your money up front so you can keep deploying the money into your business and growing your business. But if you have no cash flow and you're tied up with your money, then you can't really grow. You're stuck because you're waiting on other people to bring you the money. So that's just something that I eliminated altogether with my money upfront policy, where if a customer drops off, I don't care if they have 50 pairs or one pair, like you're paying me all the money up front. I'm sorry. I know I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do and I'm gonna get it done for you, but I can't count on customers to do what they say they're gonna do. It's just a business at the end of the day, and they just have to respect that. If they don't respect that, then like I said, you have to have an abundance mindset. See you later, or just come back when you have the money, pretty much. There's always gonna be customers for you all, as long as you work hard, are consistent, and if you follow these 5 tips in this video. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you all learned something as well. And if you all have any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.